Hello everyone, I'm here today with a flip-through video. This is part 2 for New York, so I've already done the front half, this is the back half. And I believe I left off with this layout here, so we're starting from this point, which is at St. John the Divine. And there was a lot of purple happening here. And I didn't do a whole lot though because this is so stunning as it is, it really didn't need a lot. But I did add a flip over here, some journaling under there. I had quite a few flips in the back half, more than I originally anticipated, so it got a little bit thicker. Shocker, I'm sure. But I am happy with it. And then here, I was just highlighting all of the lovely stained glass that's in there. And luckily, there was this lovely light blue color that appeared in all of these, so it worked out very well. And then here, this was a side chapel area that was gorgeous, and I decided to add some bling, some sparkle and shine, and put some sequins in there. And I had a lovely mix that I was able to put together that worked with this, and then it also worked with what was on the other side. And this was a unique thing. Since I was in the Upper West Side, I decided to find Kathleen Kelly's apartment. And if you've seen You Got Mail, you know who that is. I love You've Got Mail. I watch it quite a bit, even still. And I did find her apartment, so I went and had my selfie done right in front of her front door. Because that apartment is very close to Zabar's, and actually Zabar's appears in that movie too. That's the grocery store they used in the filming. Since I was so close, I decided to run over there and just pop in quickly, got a coffee. That's kind of all I did there. And then I didn't want to have to figure out like how to use all of these photos all the time and take up more pages. So I actually made this into a collage print and just printed out one thing, added my embellishments, and called it good. After I was done at Zabar's, I just was walking the area a bit. I wanted to find some of the more famous buildings from an architecture standpoint, and so I walked around and did that. And then this was just a street I walked down that I loved. I just loved the colors of it and the style of it. It felt very New York to me, and so I wanted that. That's why I left it as a 4x6. And then over here, I'm gonna flip up top so you can see more lovely architecture. And simple card with just a puffy sticker. Nothing too crazy there. And then after that, I actually stopped back at my room for a little bit, and then I was debating. My feet hurt so bad. I think this was the day I did like 10 miles of walking. My feet hurt so bad that I was like, do I really want to go out again? But I had promised myself that I would go to Little Island. And I did it. So you can see here, whoops. I cut out the little logo. I fussy cut it and made my own card. And then here's kind of the side view of Little Island. Just a puffy sticker there. Cut down a 3x4 card and made it to fit on this 4x4 pocket. And then here is the back side, so you can see the Empire State Building in the distance. And there is a flip here as well. And I didn't embellish these. I felt like they were quite good photos on their own. And because I had this already that was busy with journaling, this on the front, I felt like that was enough. Plus, I was trying to keep it somewhat flat. And this is the view from the top of Little Island looking out at One World Trade. I liked that too, so I wanted to keep that 4x6. And then I don't normally like myself in a lot of photos, but I thought this is so cool. You can see that it was sunset. You can see Jersey City behind me. So I used it. And another lovely shot of the water and the sunset. Really liked having that one as a full 4x8. And then here, right next to this is Pier 57. So I went up to their rooftop garden thing that they have up there, and I took these shots so I could get both Little Island and One World Trade in it. Used up some enamel dots. I have so many enamel dots and I forget to use them sometime. So I pulled those out and made sure that I used those on this layout as well. And I had this card for a long time and I wasn't sure how I was going to use it. Well, when these pictures happened, I thought, okay, now is the time. The colors were pretty much a perfect match. So I finally got to use it. And then after this, I needed to rest. I needed to eat. I think it was like about 8 o'clock by this point. This was March. And so it was a little, it stayed light a little bit later, but not a whole lot. It certainly wasn't summer. So I'm thinking, yeah, I think this was about 8 o'clock by the time I got to the restaurant. So you can see my lovely Italian meal that I had here. And this was just a random choice. I was just walking, looked at the menu outside. I'm like, oh yeah, that looks good. It's Italian, and it wasn't super crowded in there. So I went in. And that was it for that night. Believe me, that was enough. The next morning, I had a super, super early train because this was the day I was going up to Mystic, Connecticut. So you can see here, I got to see sunset, which was lovely, and then sunrise, which was equally lovely. I wanted to make sure I got those lovely hues featured in here. And then I actually worked on the train pretty much the whole time. So I don't really have photos of being on the train, but then here I am once I arrived in Mystic. And this was a fun day trip. I don't think I need to do it again. It was cute for doing it once, but I really don't know that there's enough there that would keep me busy like longer than a day. So this was perfect. Just a nice way to kind of get out of the hustle and bustle of New York City and have a quieter, slower day. And I love being on the water. So this was a very, very nice option. And I found this in the bookstore that I went to. So I wanted to make sure I used that. And I obviously had to make my own card. And all I did was just, do an outline, little pen work there. That's it. Did some stamping here. That was very simple. And then just a little piece of ephemera there. And on this side, I did do a flip. So I had to add my little tab there, just showing the streets of downtown because they're so cute. And then I went to this bakery. I'd heard about this. I think I first saw it on Pinterest maybe, when I was just looking for like things to do in Mystic. And this came up and oh my gosh, if you're ever there, go. The food there was insane. Like this croissant sandwich I had, the croissant itself was better than what I had in Paris. Seriously. So whatever they're doing, keep doing it. They're doing a good job. And then I had one of these page protectors. It was all 2x2s, and I figured this was a great way to use those up because again, I didn't need to have 3 layouts of my coffee and my breakfast. And then the bookstore that I went in, it was so cool in there, but again, I took a lot of pictures. I don't need to have all those in here, so I just cut them all down to 2x2s, and I think it worked out pretty well. And I love these stickers that I have. These are from Pipsticks, and I freaking love them. I have 2 sets already. I may have to buy a 3rd one before it gets discontinued or something because I do love those. When I was done there, I was in that store for quite a while actually. So I was like, okay, I'm not hungry for like a super full lunch, but I could do a slice of pizza, a big slice. That's probably enough to hold me for the rest of the day till I leave. So I did go over to Mystic Pizza, famous from the movie. I wanted to give it a try when I was there. For me, it was totally worth it. I had read mixed things. Some people are like, oh, it's not all that great. There are other places in town that are better. I thought it was wonderful. I really liked what I had. I had the margarita pizza, and I liked it. I thought it was super good. And then this kind of ends the downtown area. Then I went to Old Mystic Village, and they're about 2 miles apart. I actually had to take a lift up there because it was all uphill, too far for me to walk, especially with my back. So I took a lift up there, and it's very, very kitschy, which I didn't expect. Like, very touristy. I don't know that the locals would hang out there too much. Maybe they do. If you live in that area, you let me know. But it seemed and felt very touristy to me. So I went in and they have a tea shop that is all Alice in Wonderland themed. And so, of course, I had to scrap that. And I had some ephemera and cards that suited that. So I was able to incorporate those, which I loved. Because when else really are you going to scrap about Alice in Wonderland? I love this card. Oh dear. Got the Mad Hatter. Loved the floors here and just the whole design and vibe of it. So I wanted to make sure I got those fun photos in there. And then next to that, they had this Alice's Little Haunted Bookshop place. And I didn't spend a whole lot of time in there, but I did go in. And so I have some pictures. This is actually was in the display case, like outside. And then there were books around it. But I got to use my fun Alice cards, which is awesome. And then the other place I really wanted to go up there was called the Cloak and Wand. And it's all things that are Halloween-y, things to do with wizards, very high fantasy things like Lord of the Rings, Narnia, that kind of stuff. So right up my alley. So I used some of my wizarding sticker things. And this is a sticker they gave me. I didn't actually do the potion brewing when I was there, but they gave me the sticker anyway, so I'm going to use it. And I just took some pictures of how they have the shop decorated. It's not a huge shop and there's a lot of stuff. So when there gets to be, a dozen people in there, it gets kind of crowded. There was one point where a whole kind of a larger family came in together and it did get a little crowded in there. So just a warning to expect that if you go in there. But you can see all the very cool displays. They do a good job and the workers were super friendly. And then I just took some other photos around the store here of this was definitely more like a Halloween feel over here. Even though this was March, I assume they leave this up all year. But that's what it felt like to me. So I used some Halloween. This was a digital card that I dropped in there and made a collage. Enamel dots again, trying to use them up, people. And then the last place that I went to was a Christmas shop. And it was actually, the whole village was done up for Christmas. I'm not sure if they leave it that way all year round, but there was also like a film crew there. So I don't know what was happening there, but it was very Christmassy feeling. And then I found the store here and I'm not a huge Christmas person, but I just decided to go in just to see how they had it decorated. It was very cute. This was another sticker that I got in that bookstore and I just held on to it and used it here. And then here they had all of these different nutcrackers for sale and on display. So I wanted to make sure I got those in there. And then they also had a whole display for the Nightmare Before Christmas, which I love. So I had to take pictures of that and use it. And again, to cut down on number of layouts, I made a collage just of these 4. This is a digital card. I have a Nightmare Before Christmas set. And so I dropped that one in and then I did sequins to match. But that means if I do them here, it also has to match what's on the back side. And luckily, where I went for dinner that night when I was back in New York, it just worked out. I did a screenshot of the map and there was green there, some green tints from the herbs that were on my stuff, and then had this digital card as well. And so it kind of worked out well. So that is New York. It's done. And I just want to show, it looks chunky. I mean, it is chunky, but it's not horrible. When you look at it this way, it's not too bad. Actually, I've had far, far worse in an album this size, so I'm pretty pleased with that. So I hope you've enjoyed watching New York and that you'll stick around for more travel stuff. Thanks for watching.